Hey guys, nothing to really review right now. It's a bit of a slow month, but I have been catching up on games from E3 that have been revealed that I really want to talk about, and I definitely want to talk about the new God of War because, oh my god, it is so interesting. First of all, this new approach is really cool. It's director Cory Barlog. He was the actual game director behind God of War 2 and 3. He's back at the helm. You guys have all seen the trailer. You probably watched it multiple times. I know I did. I think it's really cool. I think it's very interesting. It's just how different it is. It's slow, it's somber, it's very much The Last of Us, God of War. But surprisingly, I'm totally okay with those changes. I don't know if everyone is going to be. Sometimes the combat didn't look like it was like out of this world fun. But I really like what they're going for here, especially in terms of telling the story of Kratos and kind of giving the series a new direction that I think it kind of at that point needed. It needed to slow down, pump the brakes, and change somewhere because just it's so perfect, especially like how they're going for it, telling Kratos' tale. He's older. You know, maybe they're trying to redeem this character. They really want to give him redemption and make him a sympathetic character because Kratos has always been an asshole. Complete asshole. A likable-ish asshole. Not even really likable. I mean, I guess. But I just think the approach to an older Kratos here is brilliant. Yes, he's older. Take it more like a slow tale, a slow burn, giving him that actual characterization that he's always needed because maybe he did really run away and become a new person now. It kind of seems like that, but I really like the way, hopefully the game kind of references and harkens back to the ways of how he used to be. I really appreciated that when you could tell he got a little anger behind his voice, and when you trigger Spartan Rage during that fight with the troll, and he jumps up and immediately elbow drops it in the face, and kind of like if you get like a glimpse of like how Kratos used to be. I really love that. I really think that if they let him live his life now with the sins of the past and how he was and like kind of like the legend that he is, that is something I can so get behind because the big question here is, can Kratos really actually be redeemed? Like, is it going to be enough giving him a kid to make him a better person because he was so terrible. He basically tried to like fucking kill the whole world. At the end of God of War 3, he was filled with hope, but you know, he was still an asshole and he ended up dying. Of course, we know he survived because of the after credits scene, and now in the new God of War, he's back, obviously, with a beard, and he's got that scar that he's had. But from a gameplay perspective here, I like where things are going because the game is slower, because there is going to be a lot more story to it, but it seems interesting enough with the kid, the boy, being the actual like main crux of the gameplay here. Apparently, according to the developers, there's a button just dedicated to the boy for contextual and attack actions and stuff like that. And more interesting, I picked up on E3 is that they both level up. They both have their own upgrade trees, the boy and Kratos respectively. And I think that's cool and very interesting and smart. And I really wonder how far they're going to take it and what they're going to do story-wise with this kid. Because they could do a lot of things, like obviously the kid's going to die and Kratos is going to become mad and be normal Kratos. Or on the flip side, Kratos is going to die, and after the kid is leveled up enough, you continue on as that kid and continue to grow and play as him for the rest of the game. But more on that later. The rest of the combat I did think was okay. It looks slow. It doesn't look super thrilling or anything. It looks pretty basic. But what is interesting is the systems here. I got a little more detail on this at E3. It's like a three-thing system. You use your axe, you can throw your axe, you can go hand to hand, and you can retrieve the axe. It's all like a push and pull, give and take, hand to hand system. And that's really cool. Is that going to be enough? Is that deep enough considering how fleshed out the combat was in the previous God of Wars? Well, maybe they have more planned for us. I'm sure there's still going to be crate pushing and lever pulling because it's just how it is. But going back to the story stuff here, I think it's very interesting that they are pivoting towards Norse mythology, which I realize a lot of people weren't aware. People who don't read every news article didn't really catch that with this new trailer. And it makes sense, and I think it's very interesting, and the various ways it can go if you look into Norse mythology. I actually picked up some of these rumors, but this Norse mythology setting is a time where gods walk the earth. Those are the developers' words, not mine. But there's a lot of interesting things that they can do with who the mother of this child is. But there's a bunch of different things like, oh, it could be Aphrodite's kid, or what I think is the most interesting is that it is actually Thor's wife Sif's child that Kratos fathered with her. So this child is a bastard, and now Thor is really mad at Kratos, and Thor is out to get Kratos, so that's why he's sending monsters to fight Kratos. In in Norse mythology, Thor's son is actually his stepson coming over from his wife Sif. So that can kind of add up. And then on the other side, I have seen a lot of people on forums saying that maybe the kid is Thor. His bow has lightning properties, which kind of makes it obvious. And it can kind of add up, and it's very interesting because I've seen like things like saying like, oh, Kratos is going to be Odin, which is fucking crazy. I don't know how they're going to explain that. But they also got away with saying that Kratos was Zeus's other son. So I guess they could really do whatever they want with the mythology. One other thing I liked was when they fight that giant troll, the troll like screams and shouts some shit and mentions Valhalla, which is of course the warrior heaven for Viking people in that Norse mythology. So I think that's cool. It would be really cool to actually get a glimpse of that in the game, and because God of War has handled Hell and some other places just very well. So I think it's an exciting time for God of War fans. I do feel like it's a little tired, like, ugh, okay, like they're making this game like The Last of Us. I feel like that's a trend right now. That was even a trend with the Sony press conference at E3. But still, for God of War, I think it's fun. I like it. It makes sense for this older character, and I'm all about it, and I cannot wait to hear more. But I'm putting this video on, of course, because I want to know what you guys think. How do you feel about this change? Are you good? Are you done with the old God of Wars? Do you want to experience something new? Or are you going to miss that combat? And are the theories about who Kratos' son going to be, do you think they add up? Do you have any theories of your own? Let's talk. Let's talk about anything God of War down in the comments, guys. I'm there. And of course, you guys know the deal. I'm Jake Baldino. You can like me on Twitter, you can yell at me on Facebook, and you can subscribe because video games.